So you're thinking about reading Love on the Brain, and you want the no-nonsense, spoiler-free verdict.
I see where you're going with this.
Tons of reviews out there.
Oh, yeah.
But you're here with us for a reason.
Of course.
We're going to unpack what's charming, what's cringy, and whether this book deserves a spot on your TBR.
Sounds like a plan.
Right, so.
It's like this. Imagine a rom-com, but the meet cute. It involves lab coats and a battle over grant funding.
Oh, interesting.
Our heroine is Bee Königswasser, a neuroscientist who finally lands her dream gig at NASA.
Okay, but I'm guessing there's a catch.
Of course there's a catch. Enter Levi Ward, Bee's academic nemesis from grad school.
Oh, no.
He's infuriating, brilliant, and Cy, incredibly good-looking.
This is giving me enemies to lovers vibes.
You got it. Buckle up for some enemies to lovers action, all set against space exploration.
Intriguing.
Okay, so the humor. It's a big win for a lot of readers. Think witty banter, with a sprinkle of those laugh-out-loud moments, the ones that just happen accidentally, you know?
Like you're not even trying to be funny.
Exactly.
But it just comes out that way.
Yeah, and Bee herself. She's such a character. Quirky personality, obsession with cats, and she just drops the most random pop culture references.
Oh, I love that. So you're guaranteed to chuckle reading this one.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it goes beyond just the laughs. So a lot of readers really connected with the portrayal of a woman navigating STEM.
Yeah, I can see that.
Bee's passion for her work, the challenges she faces, and her refusal to be intimidated in a male-dominated field.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It resonated with a lot of people.
It's not every day you find a romance novel heroine who can launch a rocket and dissect a brain
Right.
with equal enthusiasm.
Right. It's a unique blend.
Yeah, science and romance. That made this book stand out for many.
Definitely.
But not everyone fell head over heels for this book.
Right. And the most common complaint, predictability.
Ah, I was afraid you might say that.
Some readers felt like the plot and characters a little too familiar.
Like they'd seen it all before.
Yeah, like they'd traveled this route with Hazelwood's previous novels.
Especially the love hypothesis.
Yes, especially that one. Some people felt like Love on the Brain, it was hitting the same beats a little too closely.
Yeah, I can see that. And then there's Levi.
Oh, Levi.
Levi.
Yeah, his character was a major point of contention. Everyone has their preferences when it comes to romantic heroes.
Of course.
But let's just say, Levi's brand of brooding intensity, it didn't win over everyone.
So not everyone's cup of tea.
Not exactly. Some readers found him a bit overbearing, maybe even venturing into alpha hole territory. And his actions, like the ones that were supposed to be romantic or protective, sometimes came across as possessive, a little disrespectful even.
That's not good. A few readers were left wondering why Bee put up with him for so long.
I can understand that.
And speaking of things that didn't quite hit the mark, the ending.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people felt like it was rushed.
Rush, like sprinting towards the finish line.
When everyone was hoping for a leisurely victory lap.
Exactly. The conflict resolution left some feeling unsatisfied.
Especially around a certain awkward wedding scene.
Ugh, don't even get me started on that wedding scene.
And then Bee's internal monologues.
Those.
Sometimes insightful, sometimes repetitive.
Like that song you love, but then you accidentally put it on repeat for 3 hours.
I've definitely been there.
Too much of a good thing.
So, what does all this mean for you?
Well, like a complex scientific experiment, it depends on your variables.
What do you mean?
Are you a Hazelwood devotee, willing to forgive a few flaws for a light, fun read?
Okay.
Or are you looking for something groundbreaking and unpredictable? Maybe with a hero who's a little less, shall we say, intense.
Okay, so it's all about knowing what you're looking for.
Exactly.
In your reading experience.
Right.
Ultimately, the decision is yours.
But hopefully this is giving you a clearer picture of what to expect from Love on the Brain.
I think so. And if you're still on the fence, well, there's a reason why you'll find an Audible link in the description.
A reason?
With a free 30-day trial and your first audiobook free. You can give Love on the Brain a listen and decide for yourself.
I like it.
You might just find yourself swept away by its charms.
Maybe.
But before we let you go,
yeah,
we want to hear from you. Did you love on the Brain? Hate it? Somewhere in between? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more insightful and entertaining book discussions.
Yes, please do. You know, while we've been talking about the good and the bad with this book, I think it's worth pointing out that Love on the Brain kind of taps into this current trend in romance novels.
Oh, really?
Well, it's almost like Hazelwood took all those familiar tropes. enemies to lovers, the STEM setting, the quirky heroine, the brooding hero, and she amplified them like it's a self-aware parody almost, winking at the readers who love these conventions, but giving them a twist. It's like she's saying, okay, I know this might be cheesy, I know this might be predictable, but let's just embrace the fun of it.
And sometimes that's all you want from a romance novel.
Sometimes that's exactly it. A little escapism, a reminder that love can bloom even amidst complex scientific equations.
Right. But even with that self-awareness, there were still some elements that were hard to overlook for me.
Like what?
I'm still stuck on Levi's behavior. Some of his actions just crossed the line. From passionate to possessive, even bordering on creepy.
I hear you. Locking Bee in his office, not exactly a grand romantic gesture. I think Hazelwood was going for this. He's intense because he's madly in love vibe.
Yeah.
But it kind of missed the mark for me.
Yeah, and for many readers, it came across as controlling and suffocating.
Yeah, it veered into that territory for sure.
It makes you wonder if Bee deserved a hero who respected her boundaries a bit more.
A little bit more respect, yeah.
I mean, she's a brilliant scientist.
She is.
With her own ambitions.
She doesn't need saving.
Exactly. She needs a partner who supports her.
It's interesting because in the love hypothesis, Olive the heroine, she had this fierce independence. She was quirky but capable and driven.
Right.
I think some readers were hoping for that same level of agency from Bee. But unfortunately, she sometimes came across as more of a damsel in distress.
Yeah, I agree. Where was that fiery spirit she showed in grad school? Why did she let Levi dominate their interactions so often?
I know, it felt a little out of character for her.
And then there's the resolution of their conflict. It felt so rushed and unearned.
Rushed like Hazelwood was in a hurry to tie up loose ends, without really addressing the deeper issues.
It left me with that, wait, that's it feeling. All that buildup and then poof.
Right.
A bit of a fizzle.
I think a lot of readers were expecting a grand gesture from Levi, a sincere apology, some acknowledgement of his overbearing behavior.
Yeah, like some real growth.
But that didn't really happen.
It's a shame because there were moments of genuine connection between them. Their banter could be hilarious.
It could.
And they clearly shared a passion for science.
They did.
But those moments were overshadowed by Levi's alphaness.
He almost felt like a caricature of the perfect book boyfriend. And he lost some of his authenticity in the process.
So we have this interesting mix. Humor, STEM setting, quirky heroine, but also predictability. A potentially problematic hero. And a rushed ending.
Definitely a mixed bag.
So what's the verdict? Is Love on the Brain worth reading?
It really depends on what you're looking for. If you're a diehard Hazelwood fan who enjoys a light, quick read, you might be willing to overlook those flaws.
But if you need a strong, independent heroine and a hero who respects boundaries, you might find this one frustrating.
Or at least go in with your eyes wide open.
Okay, before we wrap up this part, I have a confession to make.
Oh, I'm all ears.
Remember all my ranting about Levi's behavior?
I do.
Well, I might have stayed up way too late finishing Love on the Brain because I had to see how it all played out.
I had a feeling there's something undeniably addictive about Hazelwood's writing.
Yeah, I can't deny it. So maybe I'm not immune to her charms after all, even with its flaws. Love on the Brain is a page-turner.
Like literary candy. Sometimes you just crave that sweetness, even if it's not the most nutritious.
Okay, I admit it. I have a weakness for brain-smitten scientists. And their emotionally stunted love interests.
No judgment here. We all have our guilty pleasures. Now, moving on to a slightly different perspective, we need to discuss the portrayal of women in STEM.
Oh, yeah. That's an important point.
Love on the Brain sparks some important conversations about the challenges and triumphs of being a woman in a male-dominated field.
Right. Like, on one hand, you have Bee, this brilliant neuroscientist who's passionate about her work and not afraid to challenge the status quo.
Exactly. She calls out sexism, fights for her ideas, and ultimately thrives in a challenging environment.
It's empowering to see that representation.
It is,
Yeah.
especially for women in STEM.
Absolutely. But then on the other hand, there's this underlying message about women in STEM being forced to choose between their careers and personal lives.
And the way Levi's character is written, it kind of reinforces that stereotype. He's overbearing, wanting Bee to fit into his mold, which sends the message that women can't have it all.
Which is so not true.
It's not true at all.
We can be brilliant scientists,
Yes,
loving partners,
absolutely.
and mothers all at the same time.
All of the above.
So it's a bit of a mixed message there.
It is, and I think it's important to note that while Love on the Brain raises these critical issues, it doesn't necessarily offer solutions or easy answers.
Yeah, it's more of a starting point, a way to spark conversations about the realities of being a woman in STEM.
Exactly. And that's okay. Not every book needs to be a manifesto. Sometimes it's enough to just reflect the complexities of a particular experience, even if it's messy and imperfect.
Well said. So where do we land on Love on the Brain?
If you're looking for a light and fluffy read with a STEM setting and a heavy dose of romance, you might enjoy it.
But if you're sensitive to controlling heroes, predictable plots, and rushed endings, you might want to proceed with caution.
Or at least go in knowing what to expect.
Exactly.
And remember, the beauty of reading is that there's something for everyone. If Love on the Brain doesn't sound like your cup of tea, don't worry. There are countless other amazing books out there waiting to be discovered.
That's true. And if you're looking for more recommendations or want to share your own thoughts on Love on the Brain, don't forget to leave a comment below. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. The plot, the characters, the highs, the lows, everything in between.
I think we've pretty much dissected this book from every angle.
Before we wrap up our analysis of Love on the Brain, there's one more element we need to explore. The ending.
The ending. Definitely a point of contention for a lot of readers.
Yeah, some people felt it was rushed. Others found it unsatisfying.
Yeah, I can see that.
But what's interesting is that the ending, it ties back to one of the book's central themes, that conflict between ambition and personal fulfillment.
Oh, I see what you mean. Bee's internal struggle with wanting love and a family, but also fearing that it'll derail her career ambitions. That's something a lot of women can relate to.
Especially in demanding fields like STEM. With Levi's actions and Bee's ultimate decision, it kind of reinforces this idea that women have to make sacrifices in one area of their lives to succeed in another.
It definitely raises some thought-provoking questions. Does achieving professional success always have to come at the expense of personal happiness? Can women really have it all without compromise?
I don't know. These are complex issues with no easy answers.
They really are.
And while Love on the Brain doesn't pretend to solve them, it does bring them to the forefront. It invites readers to consider different perspectives and maybe even examine their own beliefs.
It definitely gets you thinking.
And ultimately, the ending.
Yeah.
Just like the book as a whole, it's open to interpretation.
That's true.
Some readers might find it empowering, seeing Bee prioritize her career and personal growth.
I can see that.
But others might find it disheartening, feeling like she had to give up on a fulfilling relationship for the sake of her ambitions.
That's the beauty of literature, though, isn't it? It sparks conversations, challenges our assumptions, and leaves us with lingering questions long after we finish the last page.
It definitely does. So, with all that said, is Love on the Brain worth your time?
If you're looking for a light escapist read, with a touch of humor and a dash of science, you might really enjoy it.
But if you're looking for a groundbreaking, thought-provoking story that challenges societal norms, you might want to set your sights elsewhere.
Exactly.
Either way, we hope this discussion has given you a better understanding of what to expect from Love on the Brain. And if you're still on the fence, remember there's a link in the description for a free 30-day trial of Audible and a free audiobook. You can give it a listen and see for yourself if Love on the Brain is your kind of love story.
Give it a try.
And as always, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Did you love it? Hate it? Fall somewhere in between?
Tell us everything.
Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more insightful and entertaining book discussions.
Yes, please do.
Until next time, happy reading.